Hello my loves, we are here reviewing the Phoenix XL palette. I'm gonna do a review and a little mini tutorial on the eyes of this beauty. Like, I haven't even taken the clear thing out. I'm so obsessed with it. Like, it's everything. Look at the gold. Like, that's just so beautiful to me. I love how just so stunning this is. I mean, obviously, like, the packaging I've always loved. It's so similar. I mean, all of the Venus palettes have the Venus on them, but this is like its big sister to the original first one. It's so beat up, y'all. Look how gross this is. But I have all the Venus palettes. I have the Venus 2, I have the Venus 1, and I had to get the Venus 3 because I find that Lime Crime's eyeshadow formula is one of my absolute favorites, and I feel like they are really cutting edge when it comes to colors and shade ranges, and this is no exception at all. It really is no exception. So I'm gonna take you guys down these shades and kind of like talk about them individually, and then there'll be a little tutorial later, and of course you can skip straight to the tutorial. I don't care. But for someone who is like trying to think about buying this, I just want to kind of like talk to you about like what makes it really good, what makes it some things that you guys should maybe know about before purchasing. And yeah, we'll jump right in. So the first shade in the palette is Eden, and it is a nice like rose satin color. If you guys can see that. I want you to be able to see these shades. Okay, so I'm going to swatch them on my hand. So Eden is this first shade. It is a nice like rose tone with a little bit of like a bricky red to it. It's very similar to Venus from the original Venus palette, and that is like a very like slight satin. Like, you could definitely blend this through the crease or make it a lid shade and it wouldn't be like too shimmery or anything. So I find that that's like a really cool addition to the palette because you're kind of bringing back a formula from the first one. So I really like that. Next up is Love. OMG, this shade is stunning. Wow, it is a beautiful rose bronze. If that makes sense to you guys, look at the reflection on that. It's very creamy, very buttery. I really like that about it. It's got a lot of rose gold to it, so I think if you were just like doing a nice neutral eye and just threw that on the lid, holy fucking god, it'd be beautiful. So stunning. Okay, so the next shade in the palette is Passion. This is definitely the most bright shade in the palette to me. This is like a true raspberry pink, and it is so lovely. It is matte. It is definitely a matte. It's kind of like a drier formula of a matte. If you've ever used a sugar pill eyeshadow, that's kind of what I liken this formula to. It is super, super pigmented, but it's not so like buttery that it's going to shift around on your eye, which I like. I like something that's going to have like some stick to it, and that's what I feel like Passion has, and I really enjoy it. Next up is Fresca. This is very similar to Divine from the original Venus palette, except it has so much gold and pink glitter. So it is matte, but it has glitter to it, and I hope that you guys can pick that up on this. It is so pretty, and I use it on my eyes today. So pretty, very creamy, very like pigmented, but the glitter sticks around. Like, sometimes when you have matte shades with glitter in them, they'll just kind of like fly all around. That's what I really like about Fresca, is that the glitter stayed. And typically I was a person that really doesn't like the glitter to stay in the matte shades when you're like buffing, but to be honest, I love it. So opinions change, girl. Okay, next up is Inspire. Now this shade is a very like dry shimmer, like so dry, and that's kind of weird to me. And even after I like swatch it, it doesn't like stay really metallic, but in the pan it looks super foiled. I don't know if you guys can tell that about it from Inspire, but when you wet it, it is stunning. It is very vivid. It does have some gold reflect to it, I feel. Very, very pretty, but it is like a very crumbly. It's not like it has a lot of fallout, it's just like crumbly, if that makes sense. But I would just wet it and it's still bomb. The next shade is Idolized. This is like a true camel color. Like, very light, beautiful transition shade. Very creamy matte, again, just stunning. I really, really like it for that. I think it just I think it's just a super, super nice yellow based brown, and that's what I like. I love a yellow based brown for like gold looks. I think that it just like really pulls through and gives you a very like gold look overall instead of going in with just like a brown, like, and throwing a gold lid on the shade. It's like bronzy, just stays bronzy. So I really like Idolized a lot. Okay, so the second row is beautiful as well. I'm going to talk about Aphrodite. This is definitely one of those dry mattes as well, just like Passion. Very, very dry. When I was working with this on my lid earlier in the week, it was a little tough to blend, just a little bit. But not like, obviously it wasn't like dramatic, but you have to like, it's one of those shades that works best if you pack it on and then blend it out instead of just like using it in small increments. Like honestly, it doesn't have any fallout, which is great, so you can pack it on, but it was just like, I don't know, it was so stiff, if that makes sense. So that's my only qualm with it, but it is a beautiful shade. It's actually one of my favorite shades from the palette because it has a nice like bricky red plum to it. Yeah, it's really nice. Next up is New Classic. This one right here, stunning bronze. It has a nice like pink back to it as a bronze, which is is really unique, I feel. And it just like is super reflective and very, very buttery. And I love the reflection in it. I think it's super, super pretty. I wore this on the inner corner the other day and I loved it. It was beautiful. Next is Burnt Gold. Very similar to Idolized in texture. Like these two are best friends. Like so nice. Such a beautiful matte brown. Super buttery and creamy. Not a dry matte either. It's just like a very nice like blendable matte. Like it's beautiful. It works really well. Ooh, Flora, girl. I love Flora. Like a neon peach is just life right now. I wore this for the first time yesterday and I loved it. It's very beautiful. It reminds me of Rebirth from the original Venus palette, but it's definitely more neon. Like it's wild. It's wild, and it's a little dry. It's a little dry. Not as dry as these two, but dry. Ooh, Scallop, you guys. This is a shade that I love. I love this color. To me, like, it's so beautiful. I want to wear it all by itself. Like, it is a beautiful transition shade for so many of these shades of this palette. I don't even know if you guys can see it. Creamy, buttery, everything in life. Like, it's just so nice. Like, it's actually probably one of my favorites from the palette overall, and I hope to be using it a lot. Next up is Celestial. This is another one of those shades with the glitter in them, but when I blended it out, the glitter did not stick like it does with Fresca. It just kind of like was like bye, which was cool because I love this matte shade. I think it's a beautiful matte shade, and like there's times where I don't want it to have glitter, obviously. I just want it to like be a nice like either outer V color, lower lash line, whatever. So, you know, that's cool, but like sometimes I would like it to have that glitter because Aphrodite and Celestial are kind of similar, so you get that vibe from both. But I don't know, obviously on the hand you can totally tell a difference. Like Aphrodite is all the way on the right side. Is that what you guys have? Like this is Celestial. This is Celestial and this is Aphrodite. So Aphrodite is definitely lighter and Celestial is definitely darker, but they are in the same family. Celestial is definitely more like a brown, which is beautiful, but it has that gold glitter in it. So if you're gonna pack it on the lid, you might see that more, but in the crease, you blend it, it's kind of gone. So take that for what you will. Last row, we're gonna talk about Ethereal. This is a beautiful like duochrome peach. Wow, it's beautiful. It's so nice. I think it is just so beautiful. It would be a beautiful highlight shade. It's I know, like these shades stain my hand, unfortunately, so like ignore all that, but it is right there, and it is so reflective and beautiful. OMG, it's stunning. It's really, really good quality. Really nice shimmer. Beautiful wet as well. Triumph is next. People think of this, I think they see this and they see Passion. They're kind of like, why do you have like two of the same shade? They're definitely not the same. Triumph is so much more muted than Passion. It's really, really nice too. It's a dry matte too, but I'll show you the difference on my fingers if you can tell. So This is Passion and this is Triumph. This is so much more subdued than Passion. So everyone can pretty much use Triumph, and I think that Passion's a little bit more loud, but I'm glad to have both of them in this palette because sometimes you just like want to mix them or do whatever, and I really, really like that. Next up is kind of like an oddball for me, Supreme, and I used it on my eyes today, which you guys will see. This to me is kind of weird. Like, it's a mauve. It's like a dirty ass mauve. You guys can tell. It's got a lot of brown to it. It has almost like a slight satin to it, but it is dry. So it's definitely not like creamy like Eden is as a satin. It's described as a glow, which is like their formula, which I don't understand because some of the matte shades they describe as glow, and I'm like, there's no glow to them. This one does, I feel like, have like a slight reflect of blue. Is that like crazy? If any of you know what I'm talking about, please let me know. But I don't know. It's really funky, and you'll see me play around with it. It's funky. Next up is Blank Canvas. Really great brow bone color. You know, someone lighter than me will not like this. And I used it on my eyes again today, so you guys will see that. But it is really buttery. And what I like about it is that it just like buffs out my transition really well without being too stark on my brow bone, which some brow bone shades do that. It's very similar to China White from Jeffree Star, which is one of my all-time favorite brow bone colors, so I'm actually really pleased with this. Botticelli. First of all, beautiful, obviously. Stunning. It is really crazy rich, but it is a bitch to blend, you guys. I'm telling you, along the same lines as Aphrodite. It is so dark, and that's what one of the things I really love about the palette is it has this beautiful dark velvet color. Love it. It is so hard to blend, and it makes me so sad. Like, it's just really stiff, like the same way with Aphrodite. It's so dry. They describe it as a glow shade too. It makes no sense. It's a stiff matte. It is a stiff matte. It's definitely best packing it on and then blending it out. I don't even recommend using like a raspy brush to try and like do a little at a time. No, it's not going to do you any favors that way. So I honestly just, you know, I love it, but you gotta work with it. You gotta make it, you know, you gotta make it work for you. You think? Okay. The last shade is Goddess. This is actually the one shade in the palette I haven't used yet. It's kind of like odd for me. It's just like a petal pink, but it's so crazy pigmented. It's actually probably one of the most pigmented shades of the palette. It's really pretty. It has that same glow formula. More just a satin to me with just like a light lilac reflect to it. Almost. Very, very creamy. I think it would be great transition, great lid shade, anything you needed it for. It's beautiful. It's totally beautiful. That is my review on this little thing. Oh god. I still think overall it is an amazing palette. There's really like very minimal downsides, and when there's minimal downsides to a palette, I'm like, I still need it. And especially if all the shades in there, I will use all the shades in here. It's kind of hard for me to find a palette that I'm gonna be reaching for shades and shades. I will be using this. You guys will not see this off my Instagram for a long time, so I'm sorry. But we're gonna jump right into the eye tutorial right now, and thank you guys for watching the review. Okay, so we're gonna be playing with some of the colors that like I don't really see a lot of people playing with, that I'm very intrigued by. So I'm first gonna go in with Fresca. This kind of like taupey color. Has a lot of glitter to it. It's obviously very pigmented. Ooh. Oh, I already love this because it has a lot of glitter in it, and it's not just like wiping away, because the other shade in here that has a lot of glitter in it, Celestial, when I was playing with it, it would just like kind of wipe away, which some people like, and I like that too to a degree, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, that's really pretty. And you just have like glitter in the crease with a matte shade. I don't know. I used to super hate on it. super duper hate on it. Just gonna buff through with a Sigma E40. It's actually so beautiful, you guys. I hope that the camera is picking up on this glitter. Like, it's just so lovely. I got into my bridge, my nose bridge. I have my window open, so you guys are gonna hear like really random noises. Can you sound off in the comments if that bugs you? But I really like having my window open, so. My throat is so scratchy, I really apologize. I'm like, feel like I'm getting sick, which sucks. I'm gonna take the same color, just run it under my eye. This is a Zoeva brush. It's a 227. Okay, I'm gonna take Blank Canvas next, which I already love as a brow bone highlight because it's one of those shades that doesn't completely wipe out and get so white on you that it's gonna like wipe out your work. It might be a touch dark for a brow bone highlight because it's like the exact color of my skin. So, I don't know. People fairer than me will not like it. But I like it. I like it. It's like enough. You know? Just a good blender for a transition. Next I'm going to go in with the shade Supreme, which has really intrigued me because it's like a mauve. Like a satin mauve. I don't know how to explain it to you guys. But it has a glow to it. And I really am into it. I think it's beautiful. So I think with this transition shade, it has like a little bit of a time to come out and breathe and be its own color. I'm using another Zoeva brush, a 231. All my brushes are really dirty. I'm using like my bottom of the barrel brushes. Not saying they're bad brushes, just I like other ones more. So that's really pretty. It's taking this to a plum region, which I'm into. I think it's nice. It's like a little funky, I feel, this color. It's a very oddball color. But I think it would just look so nice, like buffed all over the lid and crease, and then you just run out the door. But with this taupe shade, it's definitely turning it more like neutral instead of as pinky as it is. I'm taking a Zoeva pencil brush, a 230 Luxe pencil brush. It's a Zoeva day, obviously. Wow. Just running that under the eye. This is turning into just a really nice cool tone mauve eye, which I think is definitely different for this palette. I'm just gonna take a flat shader brush, I don't have a name for it, and just pack Supreme all over the lid. I like this. I really was going for more of like a simple look today. And this is giving it to me for sure. So I'm going to go in with like a matte inner corner, I think. I'm going to go in with Passion. It's bright raspberry. It's the brightest raspberry in the palette for sure. I'm just this little Japanese brush, just going to pack it on. I love that. Let's hopefully blend it out at the edges. Oh yeah. That's gonna tie your berries in real well. This just upgraded it to pure grunge, which it was lacking before, I feel. I'm gonna kind of like rub that into the inner half of my lower lash line. So whatever is kind of residually on my brush, nothing crazy. Oof, but that was it. Wow. I'm stunned. I'm going to pop on brows and mascara and we'll come out and talk more about the palette. Okay, so I have my brows and mascara on. Totally done. I think I'm going to throw something in the waterline. Kind of want to leave it open actually, so I'm just going to take my Paragon Eye Kohl from MAC and just run that. Alright, and I'm going to take kind of like a nice dusky blush to match the eye. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take Animal Instincts from MAC. I think this is limited edition, but anything like mauve in tone I think would play really nicely with this kind of look. Just taking it on this Japanesque Ita brush kind of deal. And this is a dark blush, like don't get me wrong, but since it's like a MAC blush, they're so buildable. They're honestly one of my favorite blush formulas. And it just works, just so pretty. Okay, that is it guys. So the beginning of the video is a review, then it goes to this little eye tutorial. I hope you enjoy. Sorry if my energy is just kind of like, ugh, I just feel like crap. Ugh, and I'm not used to feeling this way, so we do what we do, we do what we do. I hope you guys enjoy your day, and I hope you find this helpful. I hope you buy the palette because obviously I am so in love with it, and I think it's a great addition to anyone's like makeup collection. Even my mom, who's like more of a neutral wearer, she's like, I need this because you can make this a neutral palette. It is a neutral palette, but there are so many like nice like bright raspberries and reds that really make it special. So hope you guys enjoy, and I'll talk to you later. Subscribe before you leave.